You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Because sometimes there is a voice but no understanding because of the noise. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe
Radha Madhava
Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai
Gauranitai Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Prabhupada 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 Jai Vishnupad Brahman Saprivari Kashari Vishtu Tashazimai Vishravu Chanarinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantapuri Vaishnavanda Ki Jai Hare Krishna. Picked up the gain a little bit so that I don't have to stick to the mic. Okay, reading from Sri Namamrita. The name of Christ. Okay. The relationship of name Krishna and Christ. Srila Prabhupada. What is the meaning of word Christ? Father Emmanuel. Christ comes from the Greek word Christos, meaning the anointed one. Anointed one. Srila Prabhupada, Christos is the Greek version of word Krishna. Father Emmanuel. This is very interesting. Srila Prabhupada, when an Indian person calls on Krishna, he often says Krishna. Krishna. Krishna is a Sanskrit word meaning attraction. So when we address God as Christ, Krishna or Krishna, we indicate the same all-attractive Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Jesus said, "Our Father who art in heaven, sanctified be thy name," that name of God was Krishna or Krishna. Do you agree? Father Emmanuel. I think Jesus, as the Son of God, has revealed to us the actual name of God, Christ. We can call God Father, but if we want to address Him by His actual name, we have to say Christ. Srila Prabhupada, yes, Christ is another way of saying Krishna, and Krishna is another way of pronouncing Krishna in the name of God. Jesus said that one should glorify the name of God, but yesterday I heard one theologian say that God has no name, that we can call Him only Father. A son may call his father Father, but the Father also has a specific name. Similarly, God is the general name of Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose specific name is Krishna. Therefore, whether you call God Christ, Krishna or Krishna, ultimately you are addressing the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Father Emmanuel. Yes, if we speak of God's actual name, then we must say Christos. In our religion, we have the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We believe we can know the name of God only by revelation from the Son of God. Jesus Christ revealed the name of the Father, and therefore we take the name Christ as the revealed name of God. Srila Prabhupada, actually it doesn't matter, Krishna or Christ, the name is the same. The main point is to follow the injunction of Vedic scriptures that recommend chanting the name of God in this age, the science of self-realization. Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, verse number 50. Those who can pull up from their mobile phone, they can do and repeat after me. Panchabhi kurute swarthan.
Panchabhi kurate swarthan.
Panchabhi kurute swarthan.
Panchabhi kurate swarthan.
Panchavedatha panchabhi.
Panchavidatha panchabhi.
Panchavedatha panchabhi.
Panchavidatha panchabhi.
Ekastu shodashentrina.
Ekastu sadashenatrim.
Ekastu shodashentrina.
Ekastu
Swayam saptadoshnute.
Swayam saptashtoshnute.
Swayam saptadoshnute.
Swayam saptashtoshnute.
Panchabhi kurate swarthan.
Panchabhi kurate swarthan.
Panchavedatha panchabhi.
Panchavidatha panchabhi.
Ekastu shodashentrina.
Ekastu sadashenatrim.
Swayam saptadoshnute. Swayam saptadoshnute.
Swayam saptashtoshnute.
Someone can repeat.
Panchabhi kurate swarthan.
Panchabhi kurate swarthan.
Panchavidatha panchabhi.
Panchavedatha panchabhi.
Ekastu sadashenatrim.
Ekastu shodashetrina.
Swayam saptashtoshnute.
Swayam saptadoshnute. Panchabhi kurate swarthan. Nata panchabhi. Ekastu shodashetrina. Swayam saptadoshnute. Mataji. Panchabhi kurate swarthan. Panchavedatha panchabhi. Ekastu Shodashetri Swayam Saptadosh Nushyate. Panchabhi, with the 5 working senses. Kurute, perform. Swarthan, his desired interest. Pancha, the 5 object of senses. Veda, knows. Atha, does. Panchabhi, the 5 sense of perceptions. Perception. Ekaha, the one. Two, but. Shodashena, by these 15 items and the mind. Trin, the 3 categories of experience. Happiness, distress and mixture of both. Swayam, he, the living entity himself. Saptadasha, the 17th item. Ashnate, enjoys. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Prabhupada Ki Jai. Above the 5 senses of perception, the 5 working senses and 5 object of senses is the mind, which is the 16th element. Above the mind is the 17th element, the soul, the living being himself, who in cooperation with other 16 enjoys the material world alone. The living being enjoys 3 kinds of situations, namely happy, distressful and mixed purport. Everyone engaged in the work with his hands, legs and other senses just to achieve a certain goals according to his concocted ideas. One tries to enjoy the 5 senses, objects namely form, sound, taste, aroma and touch, not knowing the actual goal of life, which is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Because of disobeying the Supreme Lord, one is put into material conditions and he then tries to improve his situation in concocted ways, not desiring to follow the instruction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nevertheless, the Supreme Lord is so kind that he comes himself to instruct the bewildered living entities how to act obediently and then gradually return home back to Godhead, where he can attain an eternal peaceful life of bliss and knowledge. The living entity has a body which is very complicated combination of material elements, and with this body he struggles alone, as indicated in this verse by the words ekastu. For example, if one is struggling in the ocean, he must swim through it alone. Although many other men and aquatics are swimming in the ocean, he must take care of himself because no one else can help him. Therefore, this verse indicates that the 17th item, the soul, must work alone. So the big purport, we will further read it. Om Gayana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Shri Chaitanya Manojam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swamruparamaya Swapadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaştaya Bhutalesh Made Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So, the soul is suffering alone, enjoying alone. So then what is the real shelter of the soul? Who will suffer your karma? You have to suffer alone. Who will die with you? No one. Who can save you at the time of death? No one. If you get some disease and you suffer through pain, who can share your pain? No one. You have to go through alone. So everyone comes alone, suffers alone, enjoys alone, but Bhagavatam gives one hope that if we surrender to Krishna, we are not abandoned. Then we are not alone. Then we are not alone. Modern civilization teaches us to depend on technology, on relationship, on politics, on society, whatever, different things. But Bhagavatam says the 17th element, the soul is alone. Prakriti sthani karshati. Struggling with the senses, 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and 5 sense objects. Those are 15 elements. And 16th is the mind. So with these 16 elements, he's struggling to exist. So if we understand this verse, word to word, or break down this verse, it says, Panchabhi kurute swarthan. Panchabhi, with the 5 working senses, namely hands, legs, tongue, or speech, and anus and genitals, what they are doing? Panch kurute, they are doing something. Kurute, what? Swarthan. They're busy in swarthan. Swarthan means fulfilling their desire of sense gratification. My success, my happiness, my family, my this, my that. So they're busy in fulfilling that. Swarthan. But Bhagavatam says, Prahlad Maharaj says, people don't know what is the real swartha. Nate vidhu, they don't know. Vidhu means no. They don't know. Swartha, they don't know their self-interest. Gatim hi Vishnu. Going to Vishnu is the real swartha. Self-interest. Who is self? Soul. So self-interest is the interest of the soul. Sometimes they say, you are selfish. Yes, become selfish. But selfish for yourself means for the soul, not otherwise. So we should know what is the self-interest. The Sridhar Swami, he says in one of the commentaries, he says, the living entity lives in this misconception that the bodily and the mental satisfaction is the true goal of life. Then, in order to satisfy his body and mind, he does endless karma. And from one karma, many desires appear. And then he tries to fulfill those desires. And then further, from one desire, many other desire appears. And then many other desires come. And then he's simply trying to fulfill those desires one after the other. By the end of the day, he's totally dissatisfied. Endless labor without any fulfillment. And also, not only working senses, Pancha Vedat Panchabhi. Pancha Veda. Veda means to know. Okay? Vedat. Atha means meant to know. Pancha, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Veda means knowledge, the knowledge acquiring senses. And with those 5 knowledge acquiring senses like eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin, he is trying to gain knowledge. But these 5 knowledge acquiring senses, they acquire knowledge from 5 sense objects. What are the 5 sense objects? Panchabhi. What are those 5 sense objects? For eyes, form. For skin, touch. For nose, smell. For tongue, taste. And for ear, sound. So the 5 sense objects. So this entire material civilization is going through, 5 sense objects and 5 knowledge, mainly 5 knowledge, and working senses are mainly meant to satisfy the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and mind. Now, nowadays, they satisfy the eyes and ear, the form and sound by Netflix or something else, or YouTube. This touch with the luxury, nice comfortable sofa, comfortable clothes, very set. It's so soft. And taste, they go to a restaurant, or they try different foods, or they try a juice where it is actually 10% juice. The other day in the flight when I was coming here, So I asked the guy, can you give me a little juice? I asked him a little bit, like in the glass. So he gave me a fruta, that's canned juice, fruta, gave me free. Frutos or something like that. And it says, contains only 10% juice. And 22 grams of sugar in 300 ml of juice. And for the smell, they have perfumes. They have perfumes. Most of the perfumes and deodorants they made in. Where they made in? You don't use perfumes? They made in where? Which country? Yeah, France. You know why? When I lived in France, I realized why. Way back in 2001, now must be more degradation had happened. I realized they don't take shower every day. They take shower only once a day, once in a week. That to Saturday. And that to before going to bed at night. I remember my neighbor, he used to take bath every Wednesday. Why? Because he has a rugby match that day. So he comes with all dirt and all that. So they take bath once a week. That's why they put perfumes. And I used to take shower twice a day. Morning and when I come back in the evening from the office. And the building I'm staying, after a few months I realized many of them, they were putting bets on me. That this person will die in few months or he will fall sick because he takes shower twice a day. So they were putting bets on me. Let's say we bet he will fall sick in 1 week or he will die in 2 months. So they're doing like this. I came to know later on. And they're saying, you're taking shower twice a day. I said, the house is totally internally warm. There's a hot water. What is the problem taking shower? I'm not taking shower with the cold water or something. They don't take bath. And just perfume. Because Bhagavatam says, taking bath in Kali Yuga is a big austerity. That's what I seen there. And I'm sure after 25 years, this might have gone from once in 2 weeks or something like that. So modern civilization is totally depending on sophisticated sense gratification. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsam Sangasteshu Pujayate Sangha Sanjayate Kamat Kamat Krodho Vijayate. As soon as you Dhyayato, you think about Vishayan, mean the sense object, any of the sense object, you meditate on it. Sangasteshu Pujayate, you develop attachment and then you want to have that object. And when you don't get that object, you get frustration or you get angry. So it's very important word here, dhyayato. Sometimes you're going in the road, you see some obscene poster or something like that. That's okay. That's not a fall down. Krishna is not saying, drishyato vishayan punsam, just by seeing you fall down. No, dhyayato. How Ajamil fell. This is a story about Ajamil things going on. How Ajamil fell. He saw a prostitute mingling with his lover. That scene didn't make him fall down, but the constant meditation on that scene made him fall down. So it happens sometimes, the mind goes here. They bring back, just like the other day I was saying, just like a tortoise, bring your mind back to Krishna. Don't meditate on that. So Jiva Goswami, he says, the senses are not the enemy here. Senses are not the enemy. The real problem is forgetfulness of Krishna. Somebody may say that, why the senses are given, that means senses are the enemy. Better, I don't have any senses. That's why the yogi does. So-called Hatha yogis, what they do? They put a blindfold. They put a tape on their mouth. They put earplugs in their ear. And they go to the forest. I'll not hear anything. I'll not eat anything, not speak anything. Shut down the operation of the senses. But senses are not the enemy. The same eyes that watch Maya can see deities. The same ears which hear gossips can hear Krishna Katha. The same tongue which criticize and eat shit can taste prasadam and chant holy name. It's just that Jiva Goswami says bhakti means not to destroy your senses. Bhakti means to purify your senses. So that's why, and there is a shloka in Nectar Devotion also, Saropadi vinirmuktam tat partavaina nirmalam rishikena rishikeshasya sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Serving the Rishikesh, the master of senses, with your senses is bhakti. Engage your senses in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesha. But if you don't do that, then you suffer. In addition to that, in these 15 things, the 16th element is the mind. Senses will come in contact with the sense object and they simply collect the data. They simply collect the data. But who is the processor? Mind. He does the processing with the data. Okay? Let's say some data came. You saw a picture of a restaurant. So that is the data. Eyes doesn't have anything to do with that picture. The eyes cannot process that picture. It goes in the mind, and mind said, wow, the food looks tasty. Let's go there. It's the mind that does all the kind of attachment and aversions. So mind means acceptance, rejection, memory, imagination, fear, expectation. All these things come from mind, not from the senses. The mind is like CPU of these senses, the data processing unit. That's why two people experience same event, they suffer differently or they react differently. Someone may forget in 5 minutes, oh, leave it. Someone says in India, we say raat gayi baat gayi, As night passes, everything gone. But some people carry for years and years. Some people say that, Prabhu, you remember on 28th May 2026 when I was in Gayana, you said so and so and so and so and so and so. Prabhu, this is 2036? Is it 10 years ago? No, you said this. Why you said this? Like yesterday Maharaj was saying that when people fight, they bring past. Prabhu, 20 years ago, you said so and so. And especially, sorry Mataji, but women are very good in remembering past. They have very good memory, sharp memory. Whenever there is a fight, they bring the past. That so and so day and so time, you forgot this, you said this. And the male is like, what? You know what is the most difficult question for a husband? The most difficult question to answer, and one of the miserable situation. When wife says, do you know what is date today? What is today? And I start thinking, am I forgetting something? Her birthday, her anniversary, maybe some birthday in her family. That's very... Do you know what? Anyway, so the suffering is not only with the physical level, the suffering is also mental level, psychological level. The mind can make you miserable. So like when you read the story of, what's his name? Avanti Brahman. Avanti Brahman was tortured by so many people. People were spitting on him. But after so many conclusions, so many things he analyzed and everything, and finally he came to this verdict that my mind is my cause of my distress and cause of my all happiness and whatever and cause of misery. My mind alone. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Tranadapi sunichena tarorapi seshnuna. Amani namanadin. When you're free from these three things, because mind only creates, oh, he didn't put Danvat to me. He came and he just went there. No pranam to me. Who is thinking this? Mind. Okay? And, oh, he said so and so words to me. Who is getting agitated? Mind. So if you want to chant peacefully, you have to get rid of all these things. So the mental misery is more dangerous than physical misery. Physical misery, you may get healed after some time. Some scratch is there, you put some medicine, you're done. But the mental misery is, wow. So that's why mind, as Krishna says, Udared atmanam na atmana vasadayet. The mind is your enemy and mind is your friend. So with the help of this mind, deliver yourself. Otherwise, this mind will make you miserable. Mind will make you miserable. Mind, you're sitting in the class, mind is somewhere else. Sometimes you're studying, you're doing something, mind says, just check out of the window what's going on. Oh, people say that, Prabhu, I don't feel like to come. I don't feel like to come means what? The feeling are coming from the mind. That's why your mind is saying that, don't go. We are dictated by the mind and we follow mind blindly. And mind has only one job, it does so wonderfully. The mind has only one job to take you away from Krishna, and he does that job wonderfully, 24/7. Even in the dreams, he does that job wonderfully. He takes you somewhere else, not to the Krishna, to somewhere else, maybe some imagination or something like that. And now all these senses and the element, this 16th element, mind, who is suffering eka tu shodashena. The one soul struggle with the 16th element. Eka, one soul. This is the tragedy of this material world. Nobody can digest for you, nobody can sleep for you, nobody can suffer your karma, and even in spiritual life, nobody can chant for you. You have to chant your 16 hours. You cannot say that, Prabhu, can you chant today for me? I'm busy. You cannot do that. You cannot hire anyone for chanting. So, as Prabhupada said, if person is drowning, he has to swim alone. This word is bhavam buddhi. Bhavam buddhi means the ocean of material existence. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when soul falsely identify himself with the 16 elements, that's why he experiences distress and happiness. Soul is transcendental, but because soul identifies himself with the body, he thinks I'm happy, I'm suffering, I'm enjoying, I'm whatever. Actually, these belongs to Prakriti, not the Atma. These kind of things, because all these 16 elements are material, belong to Prakriti. Atma is spiritual. Just as in the person, when you watch a movie, I don't know when did you watch the last movie, but whenever. When you watch a movie and there's an emotional scene comes in the movie, you cry. Sometimes there's a horror movie, you get scared. A comedy movie, you laugh. Means you identify yourself with the character. Many times you imagine a hero is dancing in the movie, you imagine yourself. As soon as the hero start dancing, 20 people come, jump, and they also dancing on the back. You do that in the street, let's see what happens. People will come and beat you. What are you doing in the middle of the road? So, but we identify ourselves. So, based on that, when we identify ourselves with these 16 elements, we enjoy or suffer. So, real problem is not the existence with these senses. The real problem is the identification with these 16 elements. The problem is the identification. So, the matter, this 16 elements is made of matter. Matter has no power. Matter is dead. How dead element can have any power on something spiritual? But matter overpower the soul because we identify ourselves with the matter. So that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, liberation doesn't mean when you die, you go back, that is a liberation. Liberation is a change of consciousness. Jivan mukta sa uchyate. If you are living in this material body, but you're not identifying yourself with this material body, you are as good as liberated soul in this body. Like Prabhupada. Prabhupada, the doctor was saying, in the last days, he's supposed to be in a very excruciating pain, the kind of situation he was in. Prabhupada was translating, Prabhupada was giving instructions. Because he was not identifying himself with the body. He was simply, beyond that. So, we are servant of Krishna, but we think, I am the controller, enjoyer, and proprietor. Of course, we are tiny enjoyer. We have some control, we have some proprietorship. But the problem is, we are minute. how much can you do? How much controllership you can do? How much enjoyment you can do? But when we try to do more than what we are, then we become frustrated. And then we think prakriti kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasha ahankar vimoodatma kartamiti manate. Oh, I did this, I did that, I did that. Look at my house, Prabhu. I made this swimming pool. Krishna made ocean, Prabhu. You just jumping, you just made one swimming pool. Krishna made ocean. The scientists may say, we made a satellite. What is the size of the satellite? Just few meters. Krishna made planets floating in the sky. We try to compete with Krishna. That's the frustration. We don't have to compete, we have to surrender. So soul is called here Saptadasho Ashnute. Saptadasha, the 17th element is soul. We are. Why it's important? Why soul is important? Because because of soul we have consciousness, and consciousness is more important than matter. This body cannot experience anything without consciousness. So, Trina Swayam Saptadasho Ashnute. Trina means 3 types of element we experience, 3 conditions we experience because of this arrangement. Happiness, distress, or mix of both. I would say most of the time it's distress. Just like Maharaj was saying yesterday, that whatever happiness you get, it's actually temporary relief from the distress. It's not actually happiness. Just like when you feel hungry, it's a state of distress. Oh, I'm hungry. So when you eat, it's just a relief from that distress for the time being. It's not a happiness actually. Happiness doesn't exist in the material world. Real Ananda belongs. Ananda means which doesn't die. Ananda means when the soul is connected to the Krishna and whatever you drive there, that is called Ananda. Because anything in this material world is temporary. Dukhalyam shashvatam. And anything in this material world which gives you happiness brings misery also. Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukha yoni evate. Sansparshaja bhoga. When the senses come in touch with any bhoga, with any enjoying object, that gives you some happiness. But that becomes the cause of your distress also later on. A child comes home, gives a lot of enjoyment to the parents. But if anything happens to the child, falls sick or something, same child, cause of distress. Isn't it? So marriage brings happiness and anxiety. Money brings comfort and fear also. A fame gives recognition but pressure also. So anything material you get, the second side of it is, a coin has 2 sides. So one side is little happiness, other side is distress. So that's why Bhagavatam is saying, save yourself from these miseries. So Bhagavatam is teaching us responsibility. We all have responsibility. Nobody can chant for us, nobody can die for us, nobody can do anything for us. Just like we suffer alone, enjoy alone, we have another responsibility which we have to do alone. You know what is that responsibility? Surrender to Krishna. Association can help, spiritual master can guide, and devotees can inspire you. But you have to do surrender yourself. Just like when the birds, they fly in a group, in a V shape. It's not that they're carrying each other. You have to flock your own feathers. You can't fly like that. So surrender is personal. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, a very famous verse. What is that verse for surrender? Sarva dharman paritajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Mam ekam. It has 2 meanings. Mam ekam means surrender unto me alone. Means one is Only to Krishna. Surrender only to Krishna, not to the demigods, not to any other form of the Lord. Only to Krishna. And also means Mam Ekam. Only alone you have to surrender. Nobody else will surrender with you. You have to surrender alone to Krishna. So, but alone doesn't mean isolation from devotees. Oh, alone. Prabhuji said, we suffer alone, enjoy alone, surrender alone. I don't need anyone now. Get out. I am alone. Prabhu, I am doing bhakti alone. Don't disturb me, I am alone. No. See, we struggle, we suffer our karmic reaction alone, but we spiritually, we progress through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So, that's why our philosophy teaches us, we are personally you know what it teaches us? The personal responsibility with the devotional dependence. Personal responsibility with devotional dependence. We are not independent. We say independent. Actually, the meaning of independence means independence on Krishna and devotees. Independence. Prabhupada says people try for nationalism, socialism, humanitarianism, this ism, that ism, this is all bogus. Prabhupada says all this rascals, ism. What kind of unity they're trying to bring? This all unity is artificial unless they don't come to the platform of spirituality, that everything is soul. When Prabhupada went to UNO, we saw that building in Geneva. He said if it's United Nations, why they have so many flags? They should have one flag. And I went to Switzerland, I saw that building. So many flags in line. No one flag. Because the whole world is going on one thing, the sense gratification on the body level, not on the spiritual level. How can it bring unity? It cannot bring unity. Peace and prosperity. The other day, sorry to say that there was the big speech was there on Monday morning. We build this nation on integrity, responsibility. What was that? 5 things he said? Integrity, unity,
Mercy.
Huh?
Mercy.
Mercy? No.
responsibility, whatever he's saying. But when the rain came, not too much of cooperation was there or caring was there, because when Maharaj was trying to enter in some of the tents, people are not giving the space. You heard Maharaj, right? When the rain came. Mahaprabhu was there. So Maharaj was not giving, we got somehow the other, we got in one tent, Maharaj was not able to get in the tent because it was full, and he said, no space. Where this responsibility disappeared immediately. So anyways, but spiritual life gives you Jnana Chakshu, as the Maharaj said, yesterday. It gives you Jnana Chakshu and Heart Chakshu. And with that you can see everyone on the level of soul. Vidya Vinna Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastani Shuni Cheva Shabak Cheva Pandita Samadarshana. Then you become Samadarshana. Now people are in the modern age, they are socially so much interconnected, hyper connected. How many followers you have? I have so many million followers on Instagram, I have so many on YouTube subscriber, I have like 10,000 friends on Facebook or something like that. But internally they are lonely. Internally they are lonely. The other day I was traveling. We often travel in train in India. So when I sat in the train, so there are, that there's 6 seats on one side and the 2 other like that, so 8 like that. So I was there and the one family with the 5 members, they were there. Okay? So husband, wife and 3 kids. Not very small kids, but they are. Now, throughout the journey, I was traveling from Bombay to Delhi. It's like 16 hours of journey. So in between, like they slept also, whatever. So during the time they were awake, you know what the conversation we had? with each other? Simply this conversation that the mother said, oh, it's a time for dinner, please have dinner. Let's do dinner. You know, the train, they brought dinner or something like that. Okay, don't forget to take your blanket, you know, it's cold, the AC is going on. Throughout the journey, all five are busy on their phone. They are not talking to each other. One family sitting together, not talking to each other, just busy on individually their phone. Mother is watching some shorts or I don't know what she was watching, and the husband is watching something else on news or something, and kids are doing something, one was playing games. This is what is happening. When I travel, I try to always strike a conversation with someone sitting next to me. You know, so that get to know people, or sometimes you get a chance to preach. But I've seen these guys, you know, like, when I felt bored, you know, like what is they doing, you know. I cannot even start conversation with them. They are too much into the phone, you know. Even I tried a little bit, but they just, yeah. I said, you live in Delhi? Yeah. Where you staying in Delhi? Where you stay in Delhi? Yeah. I said, we have a temple in, you know, yeah, we went to East of Kailash temple, yeah, once or twice, yeah. No way, they're too much into the phone. Leave them alone. So, because, you know, we think that, you know, if I have a lot of socialism, that may satisfy myself. But of course, the other day I was saying we need to have a physical quotient, intellect quotient, social quotient, emotional quotient. But these are just the demands of the physical body a little bit, but they cannot satisfy you. They're just a demand just to maintain the body together, just to maintain this body. They are needs of this body. They cannot bring satisfaction to the soul. Of course, we're living in this body, we have to maintain this body. So something has to be done for this body also. But that doesn't bring satisfaction to the soul. Soul means the satisfaction of soul only comes by serving Krishna, by by having the transcendence from the modes of material nature, and relationship with Krishna, not or with devotees. So in the purport, Prabhupada gives, you know, he quotes from Shikshashtakam. He says, in one of the verse, Mahaprabhu says, Ainanda tanuj kinkaram patitamam vishme bhabam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sudisham vachintayam. Ainanda tanuj. He says that the meaning of this verse is, I am not independent. I cannot save myself, only Krishna can save me. Please make me a speck of dust at your lotus feet. And also it gives answer to one crucial question. You know, sometimes devotee get into a debate, and even I, you know, many devotees, they ask me the same thing, you know. Prabhu, did we come from Golok Vrindavan, or we were here only? You might have, you know, faced this question. The one answer I gave them, what is the difference, you know, where you came from? What matters how you go back? And when you go back, and if you go back before me, then please ask Krishna. And this is my email ID, you can write an email to me. Then I'll tell everyone, oh, this exactly happened. But if you read the translation of this verse, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram, what it says? How it starts? Somehow or the other, I have fallen to this ocean of material existence. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, somehow or the other. Somehow or the other. Because it's not important how you fell, but somehow or the other you fell. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that. He's Krishna, he could have said that, okay, somehow or the other, no, I fell from Golok Vrindavan, now make me speck of dust, no. Oh, I fell from Vishnu Loka or something like that, no. Somehow or the other. When you, let's say you drive a bicycle, you fell. Let's say you're walking or got slip or something, you fell. What do you do after that? You get up or you hold it sitting there, I fell. How I fell? How can I fall? Prabhu, please get up now. No, I have fallen. Prabhu, please get up. No, I fell. So you get up, do other things. So getting up is more important than. But people, they have big debate. Many devotees just left because of this thing. And Prabhupada is right, we came from spiritual world. Prabhupada is right. We came from spiritual world. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. So many times, lifetime we die. This creation is done and then destruction happens. What happens when complete destruction happens? Complete destruction means the complete destruction of the material world. Where the soul goes? In the womb of Mahavishnu. In the womb of Mahavishnu. So the womb of Mahavishnu is spiritual or material? It's spiritual. And where Mahavishnu lives is a spiritual world. Mahavishnu has his abode. Though he's lying down in the causal ocean, but he has a place. He has his Vaikuntha there. That's why when Krishna took Arjuna to Mahavishnu Loka, right? When he stole all the Brahman kids and everything, Mahavishnu stole, right? So he has a place. So that place is material or spiritual? The womb of Mahavishnu is spiritual. So when there's the next creation, you came from the womb of Mahavishnu. So you came from spiritual world. What is wrong in that? So you actually came from spiritual world. And also it is said that the soul is expansion of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu creates Jivatma. Whenever it was created, you cannot calculate the time when the soul is created. But soul is expansion of Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is spiritual or material? His abode is material or spiritual? Spiritual. So you came from spiritual world. What is wrong in that? But people make a debate on it. Simple answer. Sometimes the things are very simple, but they put it so complicated, like you can hold nose like this. No, we'll do like this. So I'm finishing it in 2 minutes. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Anadi karma phale, padi bhavanar jale, tari bai na dekhi upaye. Anadi karma phale, from many millions of lives, I'm in this material world. I don't find any upaye, no solution. How will I go back? The only way to go back is service to Krishna. So even Mukunda Mala Stotra, if you read, beautiful prayers by Kulshekar Maharaj, and he says, Mukunda Murdhana Panipatte Yache Bhavantama Ekantam Yantamatam. He says, I bow down my forehead and I have only one desire, life after life. Avismiti Tava Charnar Vinde Bhave Bhave Me Astu Bhavat Prasadat. Life after life after life, I have only one prayer. Avismriti Tava Charnar Vinde. That there should not be any forgetfulness for your lotus feet. That's an aspiration of a devotee. Then he says, Naham Vande Tava Charanayor Dvandam Advandam Hetu. I am not worshipping your lotus feet to get free from this Dvanda Jagat and go to Advanda Jagat. No, not because of that. Kumbhipakam Gurumapi Mare Narakam Napanetu. Not to get free from the Narkalokas. The Kumbhipak is the severe hellish planet. Not because of that. Kumbhipakam Gurumapi Mare Narakam Napanetu. Ramya Rama Mridu Tanulatam Nandanena Purantum Bhave Bhave Hriday Bhavane Bhavaye Bhavantam. I am not worshipping your lotus feet so that I can go to Swargaloka, and in Swargaloka there is a forest called Nandan Kanan where I can enjoy with Apsaras. But I am worshipping your lotus feet just because I want to simply serve your lotus feet. That's why I am worshipping you. He says, Nastha Dharme Navasu Nishchaye Naiva Kam Upabhoge. I have no interest in so-called religion. Na Dharme, Na Astha Na Dharme. Navasu Nishchaye, not collecting money. Naiva Kam Upabhoge, definitely not in sense gratification. Yad Bhavyam Tad Bhavatu Bhagavan Purva Karma Anurupam. All these things are there based on your previous karma. You get these things. You don't have to try for it. Etat pratha purvakaram anurupam etat prathayam mam bahumatam janma janman pareti Tvatpadaro yugagata nishala bhakti rastu. But I have one prayer life after life after life is that I will always do a nishala bhakti, ananya bhakti, unalloyed bhakti to your lotus feet. That's my prayer. So that's why finally I'm winding up this conclusion. So control what are the inputs you are getting, because whatever your eyes and ears get, that becomes your consciousness. Stop blaming others, because karma and purification are personal. Understand loneliness correctly, because if you're materially lonely, that is a really reason for spiritual awakening. And depend on Krishna, not theoretically but practically, and engage all 16 elements in bhakti. Okay? And practice conscious living. Whatever you're doing in service, in bhakti, put conscious effort that yes, I'm doing it for Krishna. Put conscious effort. Try to remember Krishna, what I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, when I'm doing cooking or cleaning or anything. Many times you forget, it becomes mechanical. It's become routine. Then put a conscious effort for whom I'm doing for Krishna. Sometimes, if you get remembrance, sometimes spontaneous you get remembrance of Krishna. You're doing something, maybe email or something, and spontaneous you get some remembrance of Vrindavan or Mayapur, Krishna, deities and all that. If this happens, and if you have time at that time, just stop doing everything else, close your eyes for 2 minutes and just meditate on Krishna. That's a very, very wonderful experience you'll get. Okay? Or you can exclusively you can try to meditate on Krishna. So soul is different from body, is the 17th element. Material life is a struggle. And sense gratification can never satisfy soul. Only Krishna can satisfy the conditioned souls. No society, nothing, no intelligence, no relationship. That's why surrender to Krishna is the only hope. And if you hold Krishna's lotus feet, then you are not alone. Otherwise you are alone. So you are alone for facing your karma. So you have to be personally responsible for it, but spiritually dependent on Krishna and to the devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. These were some thoughts, and thank you. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah.